So we're here with Richard Walters from Degrassi. So Richard, why don't you tell us a little bit about your acting journey? So how exactly did you get into acting?
I think actually it all started at Alder Grove Public School, right? And Miss O'Hingwan, one of my favorite teachers of all time there, said, hey, why don't you go try out for this art school called Unionville? And at first I was kind of skeptical because I always loved acting, but then I wasn't that confident yet when I was a little bit younger. And I went for it, and they accepted me into the school, into the drama program. And ever since I started in grade 9 and was introduced to my new class, Family Now, my confidence, the acting experiences that I got and stuff like that just skyrocketed. And ever since then, I just been pursuing it as much as I can.
And so how did you make that transition from, an academic sort of environment into now the real sort of industry of acting in the professional world?
They prepared me very well for it, actually. I'm not gonna lie, it was very intimidating at first, but because they prepped me so well and I got such great experience and advice from people who've been in the industry before and who are teaching, and they just told me what to look out for, how to prepare for things, and all the things I need to use in order to be successful in it. And when I first got in, it just felt excellent after. Like when I first got introduced to being on set and everything, it was just amazing.
Great. And so when you got into Degrassi, how was that experience, like leading up to it? Can you tell us a little bit about that process?
Yeah, absolutely. I auditioned for Degrassi about 7 times before I got any role, and it was because the whole auditioning process is very tedious. It can be very overwhelming sometimes and frustrating because you get to a certain extent where you think, okay, they're gonna pick me, and then boom. And the thing is that I learned over time that when I was auditioning for Degrassi, they're very particular in what they want. They have an image that they're trying to accomplish, with the characters that I'm going for, and every single one wasn't it yet until finally they sent out the cast call for Tiny, a tall guy, kind of cool hair and stuff like that. So I thought to myself, okay, if this one isn't the one, then I don't know what will be. So I went for it, and it was down to me and this other guy. And I was in the supermarket with my mom, just grocery shopping. All of a sudden, we get the call from my agent saying I got the thing, and we just freaked out in the in the grocery store, and everyone was looking at us and stuff. But it was a great moment, though. Yeah.
For sure. And so as a young actor in the industry now, do you find that there are any challenges that you face?
Oh yeah, absolutely. Especially in Degrassi, because they're so real with the storylines, because these things happen in high school, you know what I mean? And it's very relatable for people. People look at Degrassi and they can relate to it. So I feel like, especially with this, as an actor, I have to make sure that I get into that place because I lived it already, you know what I mean? I have to go back to that place to express it, and while people are watching it, they can relate. So I have a huge responsibility in representing Degrassi on the note that this show is here for people who need it, you know what I mean, as well as for their entertainment. Yeah.
And how do you find balancing acting, so doing acting and as well as other aspects in your life? Do you do school, or are you in other things? What do you?
Well, right now, I'm on hiatus from Degrassi. It's a 6-month hiatus. So after Degrassi's done, I go to my musical theater group called CYP, City Youth Players in Vaughan. And right now we're doing the musical 13. And I loved singing and dancing before I did acting. Singing and dancing were my first loves, and then acting got into it. So I'm going back and forth in that sense. And in regards to school, I'm still I was considering going to Ryerson at one point when I have the time. So that's definitely a school I wanted to go to.
Very cool. And just wrapping up now, last question. What do you see sort of as the future after Degrassi? What do you sort of see in your acting career down the line?
Acting wise, hopefully I'm trying to get as much experience in auditions as I can. And if things work out, then I plan to stay in the acting role. But if that doesn't, there's always school, of course, because schools will always be there. Music, my possible music career that I want to do. And even travel, you know what I mean? Just get out there and, see what's up.
Great. Well, thank you so much for coming in today, Richard. It was a pleasure. If you guys want to catch Degrassi, that's airing on Tuesdays at 9 p.m. You can catch it there. Thanks for joining us.